President.
Senator from Tennessee.
Thank you, Madam President. My Democratic colleagues are continuing what started last week with spending hours trying to convince members of their own party, both here in this chamber and across the country, that they had no choice but to blow up the Senate rules by firing a partisan torpedo at the filibuster. Now it appears, from what we heard, that they used demeaning, shaming words and really went about weaving quite a frightening tale about what would happen if their Democratic colleagues did not cave on this issue. That tale was no more based in reality than the vile accusations of racism that they've hurled at those who oppose this push to single-party rule. Last week, when this insulting narrative started to collapse, they tried a new approach and pitched their assault on the Senate as a carve-out to accommodate an emergency change to election law. I fully believe when someone is going to tell you who they are, you should believe them. And over the past year, we have watched Joe Biden and the Democrats throw self-control out the window and leverage emergency after emergency to expand their power. Joe Biden signed more than a dozen executive orders in the very first hours of his presidency, knowing that if he did not do this, these policies would never see the light of day. The people, and that is the people of this country, hadn't seen fit to give his allies in Congress the majority that he needed for his agenda. So he waved his pen and conjured up a mandate for himself. And now his Democratic allies in the Senate are prepared to do the exact same thing on behalf of a bill that would federalize elections in America, stripping away protections for the ballot box and injecting uncertainty into the voting process. Now, who asked for this? No one. If the American people wanted this, they would have given the Democrats the majority they needed to get it done. But they didn't. And in fact, I hear from Tennesseans every day who want it to be easier to vote and harder to cheat, not the other way around. But based on what I've seen, I've come to the conclusion that what the people want no longer seems to matter to our Democratic colleagues. We can take today's event as proof that if the people don't see fit to give them the power, they will come and take that power and turn the Senate into a rubber stamp they can deploy when an executive order just won't get the job done. That really frightens Tennesseans because they can see what is coming down the path. Open borders, court packing, gun control, the Green New Deal, abortion on demand, socialized health care, speech restrictions, federalized election, and more out-of-control spending and, yes, higher inflation. We know that this is the future that the Democrats are laying out for America. It's the future that they see for our children and grandchildren because these policies are the policies that they have fought for since long before Joe Biden took office. Do we really think that this attack on the Senate rules will stop with an election law takeover? The American people don't think it will. Tennesseans do not think that it will. As I said, when somebody shows you who they really are, you ought to believe them. And as I've said previously, this is no way to run the world's greatest deliberative body. But this is exactly how the Democrats are choosing to go about trying to destroy it. I yield the floor.